Welcome back to Umineko.
Yeah.
So enthusiastic.
Sorry, I don't know what to say.
It's like, yeah,
Hi.
hi, well, yeah,
Hi, welcome
whatever,
back.
Jesus.
Shut up.
Let's just start it. Load.
Yeah.
God, where did we leave off?
That's a
We,
great question.
I think we left off right when everyone discovered Jessica's body. Yep.
Wow, you have a good memory.
With Jessica's death, it became certain that the culprit was hiding somewhere nearby, and that they'd come for our lives if they had a chance. According to Genji-san, when tomorrow morning comes, the boat should arrive. The boat had a radio. We'd probably be able to contact the police directly with that. All of us gathered in the parlor and decided to wait quietly until tomorrow. I proposed that we should search throughout the mansion for clues about the culprit, but Aunt Rosa rejected that, saying that if we managed to corner the culprit or maybe provoke them, it might lead to a third murder. That was probably the right thing to do. If a bunch of amateurs like us investigated, there's no way we'd find anything. It would be wisest to focus on protecting ourselves without doing anything unnecessary and leave it to the police starting tomorrow. We'd been tense at the beginning, but other than Aunt Rosa, most of us had spent all morning watching TV and getting bored, so our sense of danger had faded considerably. When we thought about it, yes, 6 adults certainly had been killed together in the first murder, but that made it seem like some backhanded method like poison had been used. And for the second murder, we figured those two became sacrifices because they'd been unfortunately isolated from the rest of us. From this, it was possible to imagine that the culprit wasn't a large number of adults, and that they wouldn't be capable of killing this large group gathered in the parlor all at once. Right now, in this parlor, there's George Aniki and me, Maria, Aunt Rosa, Genji-san, Goto-san, Shanakan, Kumasawa-san, and then Dr. Nanjo, or a total of 9 people. Furthermore, Aunt Rosa had a fucking gun. Surely, with this many people staying in this room, they wouldn't be able to touch us easily. That feeling of security, along with the passage of time, allowed us to recover from the shock of that murning bit by bit. Did I say murning?
Yes, you did.
That morning, I meant. By the way, lunchtime had just ended for us. However, a big canned food lunch, a far cry from the dinner last night that Goto-san had skillfully made for us. Aunt Rosa also suspected that poison may have been used in the first murder, so we probably couldn't deny the possibility that the culprit had snuck into the kitchen during all that confusion in the morning, and mixed poison in with the ingredients there. Aunt Rosa gave orders to all of us saying that, until the police came, we mustn't put anything into our mouths except safe things like canned food. As a cook, Goto-san must have felt very left down. Apparently eager to display his skill anyway, he said he at least wanted to grab some plates and arrange the canned food on them.
He looks so disappointed.
At first, Aunt Rosa had been reluctant, examining each one of the plates that were brought, but she hadn't been able to find anything to complain about. And Goto's chef's pick canned food lunch combo was born. Goto-san said something about taste being savored not just with the tongue, but with the eyes as well. I see. It's the same canned food we ate for breakfast, but it feels like something completely different.
Battler, look. This is the wolves and sheep puzzle.
Hell yeah, one of these bad boys. I was scrolling through TikTok, this happened a while ago, and one of those fucking puzzles came up, and it's a person just doing everything wrong and be like, this is impossible, one of those. But it was
Yeah.
the wolf and sheep puzzle, and I was just like, you know what, just to fucking spite this guy. And I just fucking did it first try. And I was like, fuck
Oh, yeah, I
yeah!
remember. Yeah, I don't really use TikTok, but yeah, yeah, I remember that now.
Yeah, because I sent it to you, and I was like, yeah! I read
Oh, you did?
Umineko.
Okay, that's when I saw it, right.
Yeah.
Great memory.
As I was sitting lazily on the sofa with no desire to watch TV, Maria came over. With no desire to watch TV, only Big Bang Theory was on. Maria came
Ah,
over and pulled a
jump
picture book
scare.
out of her handbag, not handbook, and held it out to me. What's that book? Wolves and Sheep Puzzle? Let's see. Wolves and Sheep Puzzle. It was a phrase that Aunt Rosa had said this morning when we'd gone to call on Jessica. At the time, I hadn't known what it meant, and right after that was that uproar when Jessica's corpse was found, so I'd forgotten about it completely. The book that Maria held out to me looked like a foreign picture book, or something that had been translated. When I opened it, I realized that it was a book stuffed with riddles.
Mm, So you have a few wolves and a few sheep, okay? The puzzle is how you take them to the other side using one boat.
Huh? I've heard of games with rules like that. So this is a version with wolves and sheep. It was a very simple puzzle, passed down from long ago. Let's try posing a question. On the right bank, there are 2 wolves and 2 sheep. There's a boat that as many as 2 animals can ride on, and using it, you have to move all 4 of them to the opposite left bank. That's the puzzle. There are 2 rules. The first is regarding the boat. Even a single wolf or a single sheep can paddle it, but it can only hold 2 animals. The second rule is regarding the wolves. When they are greater in number than the sheep in any location, they attack the sheep and it's game over. For example, at the start of the game, let's say the 2 sheep get in the boat and go to the other side. Then one sheep gets off and the other goes back to the first bank. When it does, there are 2 wolves on the first bank and a single sheep returns there. When that happens, the number of wolves is greater, so the sheep is attacked and it's game over. On either bank or even the boat, there must never be more wolves than sheep, and you've got to shuttle them all across under these conditions. And by the way, the right answer is to move both wolves to the opposite bank of the first turn. Then 1 wolf comes back. On the second turn, you move 2 sheep to the opposite bank, and 1 wolf comes back. Then on the third turn, you put that last wolf that was on the right bank on the boat and cross to the opposite bank, and congratulations, transport successful. Partway, there may be the same number of wolves and sheep in the boat or on either side, but that isn't a problem. You only lose when the number of wolves is greater. This book uses wolves and sheep as an example, but lots of people probably know this game using different characters. It looked like Maria wanted to test whether I too could solve the puzzles she knew how to solve. And she kept showing me different pages saying, solve this one, and this one's hard. But I solved it like it was fucking nothing. I guess you could just say I'm kind of a Sigma male.
Shut the fuck up.
So, what was happening when Aunt Rosa first mentioned this puzzle? That's right. When we decided to go and get Jessica, we talked about how many men should go. And Aunt Rosa mentioned the wolves and sheep puzzle, saying we should all go together. Wait a sec. That can only mean one thing. Aunt Rosa was saying that there was a wolf among us. Among us?!
Huh?
We keep making that outdated joke, and it makes me laugh every single fucking time.
Oh, it's not outdated. It's never outdated. You can always make Among Us jokes. What are you talking about?
Should I get an Among Us sound on my soundboard?
You should. You
Alright,
absolutely should.
give me a second. Alright, we're back. There was a wolf among us. Yeah, there we go. It's very funny for me because I can barely hear it with how, like, the audio mixing is on my side. So I just hear a very faint Among Us stinger.
Love that.
And if you're and if this isn't proof of my sense of humor, I only start using slang terms when they start to get outdated because I think it's funnier that way.
Yeah,
Because
that's true.
I just think it's funny to be slightly outdated.
That's true. It is.
And Among Us is probably 3 years outdated, actually. Maybe more. Was
People
it
still make Among Us jokes. What are you talking about?
true, but not as much? But did Among Us happen, like, during the pandemic, or was it 2018?
I think it was during the pandemic, but
Yeah, I think so,
that's
too.
not something you should be asking me, because I'm not going to remember.
Or, hold on. When did Among Us blow up? Due to the game was 2020. Okay. It was released in 2018. It's a little mainstream attention, but massive rise in 2020 because, it's fucking perfect for a pandemic game. It's perfect. I have not played Among Us in years. I guess. I sometimes see a new update come out for it, and I'm like, all right, I'm good. I'm not playing it. It's getting too complicated. So, was she thinking that we'd be safe if the number of wolves and sheep was in balance, but that the wolves would bare their fangs if the situation changed? At the time we found our parents' corpses, Aunt Rosa already suspected that the servants might be wolves. She'd sniffed out the possibility that, while she sniffed out the possibility that, while she didn't know whether it was all of them or some of them, there were wolves hiding among them. That's no surprise. The murder scene was very elaborate. It's easy to imagine that there were multiple culprits. And because she'd reached that conclusion when we went to Jessica's room and learned that Jessica had been killed after being alone with her servant, Cannon, it isn't hard to imagine why Aunt Rosa suspected the servant so persistently. You servants. Goto-san is going to the kitchen to clean the dishes. Just in case, would you please all go with him?
My apologies, everyone. Let us go as a group.
Shannon, Kumasawa, we are going.
Yes, coming.
Well then, George-san, excuse me for now.
Yeah! Take care! Rosa, could I go as well? I'm sorry, but would you remain here, George-kun? There's something I want to talk to you about. That's so! Sorry, Shannon. Anyway, take care. Don't be alone.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Dr. Nanjo. I wanted to consult you about something. Yes, what could that be? ... The servants put the dishes and empty cans in the serving cart and started to head out into the corridor. Behind them, Aunt Rosa was talking to Dr. Nanjo about something in a small voice. Understood. I will go. Yes, I'm counting on you. Dr. Nanjo closed the book he had been reading, rose from the sofa, and followed after the servants. Aunt Rosa stuck her head out into the hallway, and after seeing that they were completely out of sight, she closed the door and spoke. Listen up, everyone! With that, everyone here is in Ushiromiya. Yeah, that's true. So you're saying that you've chased out all the wolves, Aunt Rosa? With that one sentence, Aunt Rosa's gaze grew sharp. Very bold of him to, provoke the one with a gun.
Yeah. But
Apparently,
I don't think that she's gonna hurt him.
yeah, I don't think so either, but, it's still, unbelievable.
Yeah.
I know my family members would never hurt me under any circumstance. I'd still, hold back on the sarcasm in a situation like this.
Yeah.
Apparently she had picked up on the sarcasm. She laughed lightly. Your mind sure works fast, Battler-kun. I like clever kids. It means there's less to explain. Okay. That reaction was on me because I've been trying to read Lolita recently. That's on me.
Yeah, that's on you.
That's 100% on me, and I'm sorry. God, Lolita is
Yeah,
such a
you should
hard book
be.
to read. Oh my god.
Joke. I'm joking.
Oh fuck. I talked about that.
I
like the
actually have no idea if I'd be able to read it easily or not. I have
you
no idea how I'd react to it.
like that I'm like have a pretty high tolerance for fucked up media. Lolita is so hard to read.
Mm,
Like it is such a hard book to read. It's so hard to get through.
I can imagine. I just mean with my specific baggage, you know?
Oh yeah, no. Like I'm saying that like I don't have specific baggage, which
Yeah.
this isn't really helping being like everyone knows what we're implying, which is
Yeah.
but like I don't have that specific baggage, and it's still hard for me to read, you know.
Yeah.
So like I
But
can't.
that's the thing. Like, I don't. Sometimes that kind of thing makes it. That thing like that's kind of is just easier for me to read.
Mm,
Sometimes it isn't.
like I don't recommend you read it.
I kind of want to read
It's
it.
very valid wanting to read it. It is just
I already
not.
know I already know what happens in it because I've like listened to video essays on it.
Yeah, me too. I know everything that happens in it too, but it's different like actually reading it and seeing the words like how they're written.
True.
Um,
True.
I am think
I think I might want to read it. Anyways,
yeah.
go
But
ahead.
I am thinking of doing a video essay talking like everything about Lolita at some point.
You should.
Like I want to do that. Um,
I'm thinking about making a video essay on Umineko.
hell yeah. But like it's Lolita is one of those books that you cannot recommend to someone. You just can't. Not even like it's not exactly because of the subject matter, even though yes, that's a big part of it. It's more like just how it's written. It's so rough and hard to read. And
Mm.
if someone ever says, "Oh yeah, you should check out Lolita," and doesn't follow it up with, "You're gonna hate it," you shouldn't trust them because Lolita is one of those books that gets heavily misunderstood.
Oh yeah.
It's it is a it is a book like Fight Club or American Psycho, where it gets like,
And those are really hard to misunderstand, in my opinion.
oh yeah, yeah, they're all very hard to
Well,
miss.
at
They're,
least American Psycho is, because it's the only one I've actually consumed.
Fight Club is also pretty fucking hard to misunderstand, but people manage to do it. Um, but like Lolita is one of those books where somehow people have completely misunderstood it in both ways. People have
Yeah.
people have
People do
misunderstood.
that about. I gotta say, because we were reading Umineko, people do that a lot about Umineko too.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. But like I've seen people misread it about it being pro, like being like about it being a sweet little love story that transcends age, and I've seen people saying it's pro, hating it, saying it's pro that, which it's not. It's very clearly not.
It's
The
very clearly not. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a prologue in it where like a psychiatrist character is like, this shit is fucking wild, and psychiatrists are gonna have a fucking field day with this for years to come. Like an in-fiction psychiatrist talking about the events of the book.
Mhm.
And like the main character himself talks about how much of a horrible person he is. It's fucking insane. Anyway, back to Umineko. Back to something
Yeah, that was a weird tangent.
that was a very weird tangent, and it's all because of me misreading I Like Clever Kids.
Mm, Peddler smart. Peddler smart. I couldn't tell.
This bitch, you think this bitch is smart? No fucking way.
Battler's smart.
No, it's
Sometimes.
no, he is genuinely a smart guy. He just sometimes focuses too much. He doesn't like. He has a hard time seeing the bigger picture.
Yeah, true.
But I love the idea of Maria's like, Battler's smart? Are you fucking kidding me? Have you met this guy? He doesn't even believe witches are real, Mom. Anyway, go on.
Can you solve this? Page 64 is hard. Ugh.
Maria, go watch TV for a bit. Mama wants to talk with Battler Kun and George Kun.
Mm.
Battler's like, hold on, give me a second. Quickly solves it. Alright, what were we doing? Like, he just looks down, solves it, and then goes right back up to it. Ah, he'd be such a king. Aunt Rosa! I heard about the puzzle from Battler Kun. I don't think it's wrong to be on our guards, but I also think there's such a thing as being too suspicious. Whether the real culprit is Beatrice or not, there is a reason for us to suspect that the servants are in on it. In the first murder, where Nissan and the others were killed, they were treated very brutally, right? Did that look like something that could have been done alone? Maybe the mystery guest Beatrice somehow worked all night and did it all. Or maybe there's other people on this island that we don't know about. There's a lot of forest. And I mean, we only just found out about this church. And what about the master key and the door to Jessica's room? Isn't that proof that one of the servants was involved? Only the master key could have locked the door to Jessica's room. So we can only suppose that one of the servants did it. No. Wait. Spin the chessboard around. That's strange, Aunt Rosa. After killing Jessica, why would the culprit go to all the trouble of locking the door? The fact that it was locked made it inevitable that the owners of the master keys would be suspected. There was no reason for them to go to all that trouble of locking the door. That's right! It's just as Battler Kun says. There was no need for them to go through all the trouble of making themselves look suspicious. Yes, that's an interesting thought. Of course, I also thought that. If that's the case, then the person who locked it wanted to cast suspicion on the servants and locked it without a master key. But that's impossible. It's not. Right? That's right. I don't think it is. If there existed some trick that could lock that door without a master key, that would make this a great disguise for casting doubt on the servants. If the culprit's goal was for us to isolate ourselves from the group so they could attack us one by one, this trick would also be effective at giving rise to paranoia. But there was no way to lock that door without using a master key. Look, I know that Meta Battler understands that, like, Meta Battler knows that that only the master key can lock the door, and all that. Non-Meta Battler, like in fiction Battler, he doesn't know that for sure. Like, he could, like, for all he, like, reverse lockpicking is a thing. At least I'm pretty fucking sure it is. How can you be sure that there's no way to lock that door without a master key? Isn't that a devil's proof? Like, see? Rudolph Nissan was talking about earlier? Maybe it was locked by some method we can't think of. Thank you, Rosa! Even if we can't think of a way, we can't deny the possibility of some unknown trick being used. That's true too, I guess. So is that it? No smoke without fire again? I don't know the practical details of the trick, but I have a general idea. My apologies, but if we make the assumption that Ken and Kun was the culprit, it can be explained extremely easily. Even as to why there was no corpse. Huh? But Ken and Kun didn't have a master key, right? Putting aside the other servants, at least Kanekun shouldn't have been able to lock the door. I see. So that's why he told us to search in the closet and everywhere else right after we entered Jessica's room. Aunt Rosa, your mind works faster than I would have guessed from how you normally act. Impulsive and ready to hit your kid as fast as possible.
True.
The brain speed of a little sister is always the big sister's -1. If you say so, I guess. Right now, there's no one I need to worry about offending, which is certainly a relief. George Ronicky realized she was referring to Aunt Ava, and seemed a little uncertain about how he should take that sarcasm. I'll ignore that dunk of my mother. I'm sorry. Could you explain so even I can understand? Kanekun master key was in Jessica-chan's pocket, closed up inside a closed room. After the door was locked, it should have been impossible to put it in her pocket from the outside of the room, no matter what trick he used. That's not it, Aniki. If it was done the way Aunt Rose is thinking of, this trick could only be used by Kanekun. Plus, the door could be locked without using a key, while the master key was still in Jessica's pocket. And it would also result in his corpse disappearing. How? How can he lock the door without a key? It's simple. George-kun, when you return home, you lock the door, right? You twist the knob, flick, and you're done, right? Huh? Could it be? No, but Kanekun was nowhere to be found. Looks like you got it, Aniki. That's what Aunt Rosa was searching the room for. She was searching for Kanekun, who had locked the door from the inside and stuck the key in Jessica's pocket, before hiding somewhere, waiting for us to walk right past him. It was the simplest kind of closed room trick. It meant him hiding inside the closed room after the murder was committed. Then all he had to do was get out after those who discovered the body left, and the closed room murder would work perfectly. When we searched the room, we didn't find anything. But for all we know, that room might have had a hidden passage that only the servants know about. We don't know where such a thing might have been hidden, but if we assume there was such a passage, we can conclude that it was impossible for everyone but him. Well, about that line of reasoning. Thought of that too at the very beginning. It's the kind of reasoning I hate the most, so I wanted to destroy it right at the start.
Callan was killed in this room, right? You apparently suspected that Callan was the culprit, so you made me repeat this to destroy that possibility right off the bat. Yes, I understand.
So this is what I thought next. I made a theory where there were actually 3 people in that room. Jessica and Kanekun were the victims, and the culprit, the guest Beatrice, was also there with them.
You wanted to make it the human me who committed the crime without using magic. I see, a bizarre theory that suits you perfectly.
Is it bizarre?
Maybe she's just trying to say that. I don't know.
Ah, goddamn. I guess that you killed those 2 people, then locked the door from the inside, and that you carried Kanekun's corpse away using some secret method that normal people wouldn't notice. In other words, you used a secret door to escape. But you told me in red, said no kind of hidden door existed in that room.
Indeed. There can exist no secret passages that you all are not aware of. Was it Knox who said it, or Van Dyne? Was it Van Dyne? It seems that in mystery novels, there must never be hidden passages. I simply followed that etiquette. So, without having to thoroughly search the room, a famous detective could conclude that no secret passages exist. Humans playing detective have it so easy.
I'm thinking of this clip of, I think it was the show Elementary. It was like an American adaptation of Sherlock Holmes right when Sherlock BBC was going on. Like with Lucy Liu playing a female Watson.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking like a clip I saw where there was a hidden passageway that American Sherlock very easily found out about. In a very cool way, I might add. He like put down a circular object and watched it roll down the floor, and he was like, that is proof that a secret passageway exists. Like, just because of how it's built, there has to be, since it's rolling towards that way, that means there's a secret passage there. Opening it, boom, secret passage. It's just like, who said secret passages can't exist in mystery? I've never seen a mystery thing without a secret passage. Damn you, talking so big. Thanks. Thanks, man. Thanks for the Mighty Witch being so diplomatic. I get to conclude that the whole room has no hidden doors without searching the whole thing.
Indeed. There are no hidden doors in this room. There is no way to get in or out other than the door and the windows.
Which means that the theory Aunt Rose is so confident in is wrong. Also, annoyingly, it's impossible to disprove her theory. If you, the witch, say there are no hidden doors in red, how did I say that in red? It's settled.
He doesn't know that he said it in red.
But
Probably.
he just hears the sound effect and he's like, what the fuck? However, no matter
didn't notice that he said it in red.
no matter how much a human like me tries to argue against her, Aunt Rosa probably won't accept it. Humans can't prove there's no hidden door. It's a devil's proof. Damn. Sure is convenient being a witch. No way! To call Canacun the culprit because of a hidden door we don't even know exists? I can't accept that. Oh wait, that's me. If you can't accept it, then find me a different theory that's more convincing. There is none. I've been thinking this whole time. There's no other option. What kind of lock do the windows have? Is it like one of those like flimsy latch lock things? I have a feeling depending on the lock the window has, you can lock the window from the outside. George Kuhn, you and Shannon Chan are close, right? I imagine that's why you find it so hard to accept that all the servants are culprits. Even I don't want to believe that Shannon Chan is in league with the culprit. But whether they're all in it together or not, there's definitely a culprit, or maybe an accomplice in that group. That point alone is something you absolutely need to understand. If you guess there were wolves besides Canacun, does that mean the uproar you caused by accusing Canacun in Jessica's room was to gauge the reaction of the other servants? Yes, that's right. And as a result, I began to suspect them even more. There certainly is a wolf among the servants. Certainly. And, just like in the wolves and sheep puzzle, while they may be docile most of the time, they'll surely attack if they get the chance. Jessica-chan was a lone sheep on the boat. In Maria's version of the puzzle, they may not attack when there's an equal number of wolves and sheep, but our puzzle is different. Depending on the situation, the number of people, they'll attack even if there is a balance. Just like when Jessica-chan was killed. Then there's something that makes me mad! If that's true, then why you made Shannon go to the kitchen? You put her in a dangerous situation, didn't you? We should go to the kitchen right now, too! No matter who may or may not be a wolf, if staying together means we remain in balance, I think we should keep it that way. Shannon-chan went to see Father along with Genji-san. At that time, she was supposedly isolated, but she wasn't killed. Was it because Genji-san wasn't a wolf either? Wrong! It's because they were both wolves! How you fucking dare you say that about my fiancé? I mean, Shannon isn't the kind of person who would take part in a crime. I can't let a comment like that slide, not even from you, Aunt Rosa. I demand that you take back what you just said! I hate saying this in front of Aniki, but the way you're arguing feels just like something Aunt Ava might say. It's like you're automatically assuming that you're right unless we can counter your argument. Just like that bitch of an aunt that died this morning. It's just like, oh! Looks like you can't fight against your own blood after all, Aunt Rosa. Damn! Even I can't think of myself as very praiseworthy right now. But guess what? I'm a mother who hits my kid! I've become even a demon to protect Maria's safety. That's why I hit her and then guilt trip her about it!
So true.
I really wish I could shut myself away somewhere alone with her. But I also plan to act as a mother to you two. Right now, you're practically my children. Even if you aren't my own, I won't forsake you. No matter what.
But I will hit you.
But I will hit you, since you are now my children. It means you're free range!
I apologize to all our viewers, for the child hitting jokes. If it helps, I was hit by...
Fuck!
Sorry.
Oh my god!
Not really. Kind of.
Oh, fuck. Of course I don't want to make light of actual child abuse. It's just, when I have to deal with something, my coping, not exactly coping mechanism, I guess you can say coping mechanism is to make jokes. I can be serious when the time calls for it, obviously. I'm not a fucking piece of shit. But like, goddamn, it's hard not to bring it up with Rosa, because sometimes...
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Sometimes you just want to root for her, and then you remember how she treats Maria, and you're like, God damn it!
True. Many such cases.
Well, thanks for that. I just wanted to warn you not to be careless as your mother. Stay where I can see you at all times. I will protect you. And at the same time, you'll be observing us to make sure we aren't wolves. Yeah, thanks a lot for that. Damn, Battler! Can you, Aunt Rosa, prove that you aren't a wolf yourself? Yes, I can. That's a quick answer. How? With this. This is my proof. Aunt Rosa lifted her gun and pointed the barrel at me. I forgot she did this. Good way to prove you're not a murderer. Threatening to shoot, making it very clear that you can kill someone. But it was only for an instant. She immediately lowered the gun, laughing impishly.
So silly.
But to me, the time I spent staring down the barrel of that gun felt like an eternity. How the fuck does that gun prove that you aren't the culprit, Aunt Rosa? Think about it. What if I were the culprit? Would I really give up the once-in-a-lifetime chance I got when the servants left? I could just shoot you, bang, and think of a fitting excuse later. Something like Beatrice appeared outside the window and started shooting at us. I just need to leave 2 empty cartridges on the ground and say I fired back at her twice. Well, that's a crazily violent way to argue it, but it does make sense. Please don't shoot me. There's something Kraus Nissan used to say all the time long ago. I could shoot you if I wanted to. Might is right. Maybe that really is true. I'm sorry, you two. I've somewhat lost my composure after all the crimes seen this morning. You fucking don't say! You know how I normally am, so I must seem desperate and a bit short-tempered right now. Don't fucking say!
Yeah, you know how I am.
But please
You
understand.
know how she is.
I want to protect you from a malicious culprit. I will become a demon to do that. That's all there is to it. I'm sorry for saying something that's angered you. Battler-kun, George-kun, let's make up. An unsatisfied expression rose to George Oniki's face. He probably couldn't forgive the damage done to Shannon's honor. What about me? Several bits of circumstantial evidence hinted at the servants' participation. I didn't want to believe that one of them was the culprit, or possibly colluding with the culprit. But in our current situation, that was little more than wishful thinking. Whom should I believe? In the first place, who is the culprit? Are there accomplices? And if so, how many? It seems I've only been suspecting the people we know. I quickly forgot that 19th person, the guest Beatrice, who arrived in yesterday and boldly claimed to be the Golden Witch. In fact, I still haven't seen her face. I heard she greatly resembled the witch in that portrait, but since I haven't seen her directly, no matter how hard I try, it doesn't really feel to me like a 19th person is on this island. So I've been subconsciously hallucinating that the culprit's one of the 18. Damn it. Come out, Beatrice. We'll accept you for who you are. If you're the bad guy, then act like the bad guy and show yourself, laughing in a high-pitched voice and mocking us. Oh, you have no idea how much she's been doing that. Just like a bad guy in one of those dramas who, even when they're exposed as a culprit, aggressively says, "Where's your proof?"
There she is. Where's your proof?
I want to punch you in the face so bad. Like, shut up.
At me or
No,
at
no,
her?
that's a me saying as Battler to Beatrice.
You could punch me in the face maybe like once with forgiveness.
Shut up, no more talking. There were 5 humans in the kitchen. And 1 dog. Okay?
The dog.
But it was
Wait,
very...
I was gonna say the dog was Battler, but that doesn't work. That doesn't make sense because Battler's not even there.
Yeah! There were 5 humans in the kitchen, but it was very quiet, filled only with the sound of the rain. It was only accented by the sound of Shannon Kumasawa washing the dishes. Goda was using the leftovers from breakfast and lunch as ingredients for soup. Rosa had suspected that poison might have been added to the food, so they decided to eat canned goods, but it hadn't been too satisfying. But Goda thought she was being too cautious, so he's spontaneously creating a soup to be served only to those who wanted some. Shannon and Kumasawa were washing the dishes that the food had been arranged on. On the inside, they thought maybe Goda should wash them, since he'd been the one who wanted the food arranged on plates in the first place, but they left their complaints unsaid for the time being. Genji and Nanja were facing each other across a crude chess set that had many years of experience. The game had still only just begun, and because the opening game of these experienced players had been honed to perfection, it looked like a ceremony where they just moved specified pieces in a specified order.
That's a nice aroma. You wouldn't get this from canned food.
Yes, I used some of my world-famous cyanide seasoning.
It was only made from sealed ingredients, so there won't be any poison mixed in. I'm making enough for everybody, so please eat. Of course, I will also taste for poison. Please feel secure and eat.
That really is a nice aroma. Goda-san, the food you cook is really is delicious.
Being able to create delicious food when you buy delicious ingredients is hardly special. My master taught me that a true cook needs to perfect their ability to make delicious food from whatever is on hand.
My master, Sanji from One Piece. Like, oh, okay.
I understand that reference.
God, I really hope I didn't fuck up his name. Hold on. Sanji. Okay, good. Oh, thank Christ I didn't fuck up his name. He's the cook. That was a good master. Thanks to him, it looks like we'll get to enjoy some truly delicious soup. Although it is a shame that it was made from ingredients intended for all of the family members to eat. I'm sure Rosa-san is tired after everything that happened this morning. It is only natural.
But thanks to that, we get to drink some soup made from delicious ingredients.
Rosa had fervently warned everyone that they didn't understand the danger they were in, and that they must assume that poison was mixed in with the food. The mood at the time had led them to agree, but hunger wasn't something that could be swayed by a momentary emotion like that.
Ironically, we've ended up with a soup that we normally wouldn't be able to savor. If possible, I would like to serve it to everyone in the parlor, but
Thinking that it would violate Rosa-sama's instructions, you had best give up on that idea. It's enough that only those who want to eat it do so.
skillfully taking a breather when no one's looking is also an important skill for a servant, isn't it?
When Kumasawa cackled, Shannon and Goda laughed too. It seemed that, in this space where only their fellow servants were gathered, they could relax quite a bit. Shannon didn't like Goda's occasional dishonesty, but she knew that there was no falsehood in his childish smile when he cooked, nor in his desire for people to enjoy his food. So even though it was a little aggravating to be made to wash the dishes, she couldn't really hate him. I can. However, they couldn't have dreamed that Rosa was calling them wolves in the parlor at exactly the same moment they were spending their time peacefully like this. At that time, several of the servants heard a sound like something being dragged. And then, did that sound enough like a thump?
I didn't hear much.
Nah, okay, I tried to, here, let's get some Foley work done.
What?
How's that?
Yeah, better, I think.
Alright. I said let's get some Foley work done. Do you know what Foley is?
I don't think so.
It's basically, like, Foley is, like, sound. It's, like, sound design, basically.
Oh, okay, I think I know what you mean.
Like, you're watching a documentary about horses, and they're walking along, and, like, you're hearing the crunch of the grass, but that sound actually is coming from a guy in a studio somewhere.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like, hitting stuff
Yeah,
together.
I think I get, sorry. No, I think I get what you mean.
Okay. It seemed like the sound made by a servant outside the back door when they were carrying a mountain of trash bags on a rainy day. Or maybe when a servant was returning from work wearing a raincoat. So at first, the sound didn't seem anything out of the ordinary to any of them. But they soon realized. Right now, everyone was either in the kitchen or in the parlor. So who could possibly be at the back door? It's Kinzo. Hey, I smell some soup. As the servants all looked
Kinzo got too silly.
As the servants all looked at each other, they checked to make sure that each one of them knew what that sound meant.
Who could it be?
The servants knew the mansion's layout well, so they understood how incomprehensible it would be for someone from the parlor to actually go outside in this typhoon, go all the way around, and come up to this back door. Then was it Kinzo? They couldn't imagine that Kinzo, who never left his study, would dash out into the middle of this typhoon and come to the back of the house where only low-class people ever entered or exited.
That wasn't... our imagination, was it? Oh. It's so funny when she says that.
Oh god. Not to reference One Piece again, but like there was an episode where there was an arc that took place in an island where these two giants were constantly fighting, and they had a laugh. Like they each had like a laugh that was kind of like this. Like I can't remember what it was. I can't remember what it was exactly, but it was very much like a ah, bah, 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 bah. Like one of those sort of laughs, and it was fucking amazing.
One Piece moment.
Yeah, when the One Piece.
When the piece won.
The One Piece is real! I don't have that sound on
Up
my
until
soundboard.
recently, I didn't. Up until recently, I didn't even realize that, like, One Piece was named after was like it was a thing.
You did.
I thought it was just called One Piece.
I didn't. I didn't completely know that it was also called one. Like I didn't. I've heard people like say like, "Oh, Luffy's trying to find the One Piece," but I never really put it together in my head. Actually, Shannon and Kumasawa drew close together, fearfully looking at the back door. Who is it?
Who is it?
As Goda fiercely approached the back door, he called out, and his eyes flashed towards the butcher knife that sat in the nearby sink. He didn't pick it up yet, because there was still a possibility that this was a member of the family. However, that possibility was impossible. There was no response from across the door to Goda's initial question. Maybe his voice had been so quiet that it hadn't reached through all the wind and rain outside.
Genji-san.
Yes. Stand back, Dr. Nunjo, and the women. For in the world could that be? Genji took a knife with a classical design from a stationery box placed near the chest. That's just, oh, okay. Oh, okay. It was something to be used instead of a paper knife to open envelopes for statements of deliveries and bills. Oh, okay, okay, that makes more sense. But it was still a knife. So the blade on it could injure someone. Genji hit it in the sleeve with a what? I know a while ago I joked about Kanon being the Ushiromiya family hitman, but maybe it's Genji. Maybe Genji was Agent 47 in a past life.
Is that the guy from Hitman?
Yeah, this guy from Hitman.
The Hitman from Hitman?
Yeah, that's the
You know how I
Hitman.
like to call... Yeah, like how I like to call Guts Berserk.
Yeah. My favorite part of
Yeah,
Hitman.
that's Hitman.
My favorite part
Hitman
of
from
Hitman is
Hitman.
when the Hitman is when Hitman goes, "It's Hitman time," and starts hitmanning all the people.
Yeah.
Then he approached the back door himself, giving Goda a silent nod. Goda cautiously approached the back door and slowly started to open it. Pizza delivery. How the fuck?
Yeah.
The shadow of a person suddenly shuffled into sight, landed on its knees, and fell over. Goda
I had
fell
no idea
backward.
what kind of noise I was trying to make there.
Goda fell backwards onto his backside and couldn't get up. The human shadow was soaked with rain, smeared with mud, and drenched with blood.
Kanon-kun? Kanon-kun.
Kanon? Are you alright? Dr. Nancho? It was Kanon. His breath was feeble, and the puddles of mud he left were quickly drenched bright red.
I thought you said his breath was evil.
His breath was evil.
Yeah, it was nasty.
His breath, oh my god. When Nancho held him and turned him face up, there was a deep, gruesome wound right in the center of his chest, as though he'd been stabbed there by a spear or something. Even now, deep red blood poured out from there.
This is horrible. Oh, what shall we do? Get a first aid kit? A first aid kit.
Kanon, place your hand against the wound. Please push firmly. Let's get him to the bed in the servant room. Everyone, please lend a hand. Don't know why I'm doing this. I don't know why I'm making everyone like very casual about this. Like, oh,
It's funny, that's why.
another Thursday night.
Come now, Kanon-san. Please, hang in there a little longer. Hang in there. It'll be okay. So don't take your hand from the wound.
At any rate, let us carry him to the servant room. Kumasawa, inform Rosa-sama that we have found Kanon. Was that a sound effect I heard?
Wait.
Okay, no, it wasn't a sound effect I heard.
No, Rosa-sama. Please wait. Kanan-san said, not Rosa-sama.
Tell Maria instead. What? Okay, I guess.
Oh, what do you mean, Kanon-kun?
This is no time for that. Let us quickly carry him to the servant room. Insama, do not tell Rosa-sama yet. We will do it after we hear the situation from Canon.
Yes.
You told them not to tell Rosa right after appearing in the state. This can only mean something very disquieting. An eerie anxiety rose to their faces. Come now, everyone. We'll turn around and carry him. Quickly, quickly! I wonder if the repeating word thing sounds better in Japanese than it does in English. Because like I see like the repeating word thing a lot in a lot of Japanese media, and it always like feels off to me. But recently I've been playing Persona Q2, which doesn't have an English dub. Like it's been translated into English, but it doesn't have like English voice acting. It's like still the Japanese voice actors.
Mm-hmm.
And it could be that, from what I've noticed, that Japanese is a very rhythmic sounding language.
That would make sense.
So like so I see like sometimes like again I'm not even sure if it's a direct translation or it's like a localization from a translation, so makes it slightly different. But the repeating from what I found, repeating sounds in Japanese don't sound as weird as repeating sounds in English.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's just like because there's only like I don't know if that's because there's only like a very specific amount of like sounds in the Japanese language, like most of like because almost all the like letters, uh, all like their all the characters end with one of the 5 vowel sounds. Like the only one that doesn't is like their N character. And that really adds to like the rhythmic feeling of Japanese.
Mm.
But it really just it, repeat. I know I'm rambling, but just like repeating words in English doesn't sound right, but when I hear repeating sounds in Japanese, it just sounds like it fits better. If that makes
No,
sense.
I get that.
Okay. I've been thinking that a lot, especially whenever Battler says it's useless 5 times in a row. Cannon's wound was unbelievably deep, and judging from Nanjo's pale face, it was a miracle that he was still conscious. This is horrible. He appears to be stabbed by something like a spear. If it hasn't reached the lungs, I might be able to do something. At any rate, we must stop the bleeding. Cannot wait.
Uh, ah.
No matter how much Nanjo tried to wipe off that gushing deep red blood, he couldn't do it. He couldn't do it. He couldn't wipe it all away. And each time the moon was abrogated, causing Cannon to cry in anguish. I'm just like, how does the guy have so much blood in him? This has got to be 5 liters at least.
Kanon-kun, Kanon-kun, Kanon-kun. Hang in there. Hang in there.
Dr. Nanjo, here's a new towel. horrible.
Not just like, you're telling me these are perfect, these are new white towels. Ah, you're never gonna get this out. What is his condition? Bleeding. What the fuck you mean? What is his condition? You see how much blood he's losing. In all honesty, this is so severe that I cannot believe he is alive. Maybe the location of the wound was fortunate, but the blood loss is too horrible. A blood transfusion is necessary, but that will be impossible until tomorrow. If you ask me, I'm surprised he's still gushing it out at this rate. Homie's dead, gang.
Mm. Rosa-sama. To us.
What is the cannon? What is it? Soylent Green. His people.
Don't talk, Kanon-kun. Your wound will open. Does it work like that?
If
Rosa-sama.
you move too much, like, it can, like, fuck with it.
Yeah, true. I thought it was just a funny thing to say, you know?
It is.
Rosa-sama came to...
Whoa, whoa, whoa. We don't need to know what Rosa did.
Hold on, I gotta, my mom's calling.
Oh, fuck. Alright, go ahead.
Came to my lady and me and... Oh, what did you say? Rosa-sama did... Oh? Could that mean...
It can't. She has a very clear alibi. When could she have gone and killed them? She's been constantly with people.
Yeah.
Are you certain?
Yes. I'm certain it was Rosa-sama.
Well, that's bullshit, because I was with her at the time. Come on, don't speak anymore. Kumasawa-san, please rub another first aid kit.
Genji-san, is it possible Rosa-sama did such a thing?
No. Kenshi, I do not know. Disregarding Nanjo and Kumasawa, who are struggling hard and stained with blood as they try to stop the bleeding, Genji and Goda face each other. But if what Kennen had said was the truth, Rosa was the culprit who killed Jessica.
Curse you, Rosa. How could you do that to my lady? I'll kill you. I will kill you. Ah!
Kennen screamed even more hatefully. His hate-filled voice made it seem like he was seeing Jessica being harmed right before his eyes.
Certainly, Rosa-sama may have had a reason to kill my lady.
Well, what would that reason be?
Jessica, I don't know, was trying to kill her. I don't know.
Oh, fuck. Okay, he's meaning like, okay, that's what he means by it. But how he phrased it was like, hey, maybe Rosa was in the right.
Yeah.
Let's not pass judgment too quick.
If everyone in the Shiromiya family were destroyed, the inheritance would all go to Rosa-sama. If so, Battler and George-sama are in danger. Not only is Rosa-sama holding a gun, but right now they're the only ones in the lounge. Genji-san, isn't this situation quite perilous?
Shannon suddenly ran out into the corridor. Her expression was complex and tragic, as though she didn't know what to believe. Shannon ran. To where? The inside of the mansion had been scrupulously cleaned, so it probably wouldn't be easy to find. She might find it if she searched the rose garden, but they'd probably all be lost in this wind and rain. That's right. The boiler room isn't cleaned very often. If she went there, she might be able to find it. Shannon ran downstairs to find that in the underground boiler room. Did some medicine take effect at the brink of death? Or is Cannon finally beyond feeling the pain? For the time being, at least Cannon's painful gasping had subsided. Nanjo apparently didn't view this as a very good sign, and he didn't let his eyes off Cannon for a second. Kumasawa firmly grabbed Cannon's hand and kept encouraging him, so that the willpower keeping him alive didn't fade away. Genji and Goda seemed uncertain how to respond to the truth Cannon had risked his life to deliver. Rosa-sama's gun surely has 4 or 5 shots loaded.
That is no small number, but loading cartridges into a Winchester should require quite a lot of practice. She might be able to get one shot off, but if everyone attacks her at once, we should be able to take the gun from her before she shoots again.
We may have a doctor on this island, but we have no access to medicine and no hospital. If the location of the shot is bad, that person will die. Why does he die like that?
To emphasize it, I don't know. I understand that, but more importantly, if we don't move quickly, there's a chance another crime will occur. It seems to me that Rosa-sama managed to cleverly chase us out. Maybe George-sama and Battler-sama are being killed right now. If our foe is so dangerous, wouldn't it be better if we didn't provoke them too much? But tomorrow is still a long way off. We can't even imagine what strategies she might use. Genji-san, we should take action first. If we can at least steal the gun under some pretext, it might work out. There are 4 or 5 cartridges, are there not? That means there aren't enough to kill all of us. As long as we don't carelessly provoke her. Surely even Rosa-sama wouldn't be that rash. No, she said it. She said she'll massacre all of us.
I like to imagine he said that like just very like, nah, she said it. She said she'll kill all of us. It's just very overly casual. Cannon, who they thought was, oh my god, wait, who they started was sleeping quietly, suddenly started talking brightly. Wait, almost as though he'd been awake this whole time and had suddenly opened his mouth. Cannon looked firm and steady, which relieved Nanjo a bit, but considering the depth of that wound, he couldn't wipe away a certain creepy feeling. He knew because he was a doctor. After losing so much blood, Cannon might easily have lost consciousness. Why am I talking like this? And yet somehow he was still intensely aware of his surroundings. Was it youth? Was it tenacity? Maybe it's Maybelline. Sometimes the power of human life surpassed common knowledge. While stopping the bleeding, Kanajo had groped around a bit inside the bleeding hole. Oh, sorry, that's immature of me. Making sure there was...
It's so immature of you. Why are you like this?
Making sure there are no foreign objects inside the affected area. I don't know. I'm tired. My sense of humor shot. And the great depth of the wound had shocked him. It had certainly reached his parts of lungs. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You should be.
Okay. And yet... No, but... The fact that he's still alive is wonderful. But Cannon had spoken clearly. He'd hatefully stated that the one named Rosa made this wound, cursing and raging over and over and over.
She wants to kill everyone by any means necessary before the typhoon passes, so that she can have the Master's wealth all to herself. She told me that clearly. Damn. What a person.
Damn! Damn, what a bitch!
I just had to say that in a silly way because it's such a funny line.
Yeah, it's so funny to say in reaction to that.
Damn, what a person. Genji-san, what should we do? Are there any weapons we can...
I find it hard to believe. To think that Rosa-sama would say something like that.
Genji-san, it isn't a question of whether you believe or not. She told me. I heard it. Why won't you believe me?
So, we all know, this isn't a spoiler, it's clearly not canon, we saw Canon die. Has Canon ever called Genji Genji-sama?
Probably.
I thought he always called him Genji-san. But don't get up. You'll harm your wound. Canon sat up on the bed, speaking to Genji, who didn't seem to be willing to believe Canon's story.
She'll definitely kill all of us. She must have killed everyone in the parlor by now. If we don't kill her first, we'll definitely be killed first. Just like how I was killed first, everyone else will also be killed first. That sentence is a little confusing.
Yeah.
Kill or be killed. Kill or be killed, kill or be killed.
Okay,
Is that a fucking Undertale reference?
I was about to say! Hanan-san, does that really not hurt?
Oh, this? This is nothing.
What the fuck do you mean it's nothing? You're...
It really isn't a big deal. It doesn't even hurt anymore. It's really nothing.
I love the idea of Nanjo and Battler, like, being like having the same amount of being the same amount of realists. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? As Canon said that, he began to untie the bandages that had been painstakingly wrapped. The gruesome hole in his chest was immediately exposed.
Kanon-san, you mustn't do that. Lie down quickly. I said it's fine. Hey, see? This is nothing, right?
Canon showed off his gaping wound, which was still slowly spitting out foamy blood. Everyone averted their eyes reflexively.
Look, I told you it wasn't a serious wound at all.
Stop! What the fuck? You mustn't play with the wound. Clearly.
Come on. See? It isn't a deep wound at all. Look. Look.
It's got to do the... Have you ever seen The Thing?
What are you talking about?
Have you ever seen the movie The Thing?
Oh, no, I don't think I have.
The one where, like, it's a bunch of researchers in Antarctica and an alien.
I know what it's about.
Among Us, the movie, basically. I was gonna make there is a very cool kill in it. Spoilers, I guess. Do you mind if I spoil it?
I don't care.
Okay.
I don't care.
Spoilers for The Thing, but you should watch it. It's fucking amazing.
I know I should.
A guy supposedly dies, like, gets a heart attack, like, goes into cardiac arrest or whatever, and they're trying to resuscitate him by using, like, the shock tile things. And right before the doctor is about to, like, clear shock him, it's revealed that it's actually an alien, and his entire stomach opens up and fucking bites off the doctor's hands.
Oh, this happening right now would be really funny.
Yeah, that's
You're right.
exactly what I'm imagining. I could just see Cannon trying to do that. Wait, this takes place
The
in
bite of
1980s.
the bite of 86.
I was about to say this takes place in. Oh my god! It is possible that they have seen it. The thing came out in 1982.
Mm.
It is possible. Cannon held up 2 fingers, showed them to everyone, and slowly started to stick them into the gruesome wound right in the center of his chest.
I know what you're thinking.
No, I'm not. I'm actually just grossed out at the
Okay,
idea
good.
of seeing this.
Okay. Because I know you made the joke before. So.
But I am thinking about what I'm about to say. Plungy, slimy, squishy, wet. Did that get picked? I said that really close to the microphone. Did that come up as?
Yeah, to me it did.
All right, cool. I feel like I've read this line before.
I feel like you have.
The fingers went in deep, all the way to their bases. Squish, gloop, bloop.
Shut up.
Oh my god! Remember that fucking manga I was reading? I sent you to, and the sound effect it used was insert.
I don't remember, but yeah, I can imagine.
I was so thrown off.
Eek. Cut on, son. Stop it.
Those fingers were sticking all the way into his chest, up to their bases. And then he slowly pulled them out in exactly the same way. The fingers he pulled out were stained a sticky, solid, deep red color. And there was even a thread hanging. The fingers were covered up to their bases in deep red.
You should really go to a hospital, bro.
What the fuck are you doing?
See, it is not a serious wound at all. See?
At that moment, the door slammed open and Deus Ex Shannon appeared. Even after she saw Cannon stained with fresh blood, her impregnable expression didn't falter. Oh, this is not...
Huh? What?
I was gonna say, oh well, that does not bode well for George's dreams of a family.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Very funny.
I can tell with how you're saying it. Anyway, go on.
Hey, Nay-san. Where'd you go? I'm on the verge of death here, so where'd you go? That's right. I went to the boiler room. There was something I had to find. More importantly, there's something I need to ask you.
If you're the real Cannon, then which of these magazines is his porn stash? It's like, oh, what the fuck?
Are you really Tanan-kun? Huh? What?
It was only natural. Everyone believed he was Cannon. So they couldn't understand the meaning of Shannon's question. I don't know, maybe when the guy started standing up and acting like the fucking blood loss wasn't affecting him, I would start thinking, maybe this isn't canon. When they looked, they noticed that Shannon was holding a handkerchief in her hand. It was filthy and looked like it had been used to wipe up some trash or dust. And while holding that, she approached Cannon, drawing closer to his feet.
What is that? It's a handkerchief with a spider's web wiped onto it. Why would you bring something like that? If you're a Kanon-kun, you should be fine. But if spiders are your natural enemy, I thought you might not like it. Are you kidding? Why would I hate spiders? Sorry, I'll try it. Shannon-san.
When Shannon brought that handkerchief close to Cannon's side, something happened in an instant. It all happened at once, and the human eye couldn't have followed it. Cannon jumped like a wild goat, fleeing from the thing that Shannon was holding. Then, from his arm, some kind of afterglow flashed purple and drew a curve through space. That arc, which drew 3 beautiful purple curves, traced across the throats of Nanjo and Kumasawa. No! Not Nanjo! I was having fun voicing him! Who had been tending to him.
There's plenty more episodes, trust me.
And in an instant, all the episodes after this, for some reason, Nanjo becomes the main character.
As it was meant to be.
Opening like gaping mouths. And then the blood really started spewing out. The third purple curve should have traced across Shannon's throat. But Shannon wasn't there. Because Genji, who had been behind her, had wrapped his own arm around Shannon's neck and pulled her back. This all happened in an instant. In the instant it took Go to think fast and attempt to understand the scene, the frozen moment in time shattered. What the fuck?! Blood was gushing from Nanjo and Kumasawa's torn open necks. Cannon jumped and kicked off a picture frame that had been hanging from the wall behind him. It's a hang in there poster. Springing forward just like a cat and aiming for Shannon's throat again. But Cannon's target once again disappeared from in front of him. Because Kenji had pulled Shannon again, and the two of them had fallen to the ground in a defensive crouch.
Nice reflexes, you've seen that old furniture.
Gota! Get the emergency gun!
Oh.
Even Gota was no fool. Even if he couldn't fully understand what was going on, he at least realized that if this cannon wasn't seized, his own life would also be in peril. He sprung in Cannon with his huge body, pushing him up against the wall with all of his weight and physical strength.
Oh. Whoa. Oh, fat ass.
Well, now that's just hurtful. Another purple curve was drawn from the tips of the fingers on Cannon's right hand. And when he raised a hand like a sword aiming for Gota's back, there was a loud thunk. Because Cannon's raised hand had been pinned to the wall. He couldn't tear his palm away from the wall. Sticking out from it was the knife Genji had thrown. Okay, fuck it, he knows how to throw knives. Under normal circumstances, it would have been surprising to someone as old as Genji handle a knife so skillfully. When this had normal space, no one paid it much mind.
Genji-sama, take this.
Indeed. Genji took the handkerchief with the spider web stuck to it from Shannon, and he approached Cannon, who was pinned to the wall by Gota's massive body and the knife.
Stop it. Keep that away from me. Stop it. Stop. God.
When Genji pushed the handkerchief up against Cannon's face, there was a sound just like setting meat on a red-hot iron plate. Of course, the smell was the same too, and he was horribly burned, festering in filthy red and black and crying out in his death throes. Cannon's body
He's allergic.
Cannon's body burst open and scattered. It was almost as though a balloon filled with gold leaf had popped. The entire servant room was completely buried under a storm of a cloud of gold butterflies. Those butterflies began to softly fade, as though into water, or rather, into the empty air itself. And afterwards, all that was left was the 3 survivors sitting on their butts, stained with blood. However, not everyone was merely stained with blood. Some of them were lying on the ground, spurting out blood themselves. Kumasawa! Dr. Nancho! Slits so sharp they looked like they cut your finger if you touched them open wide. And large amounts of blood kept pouring out. Oh my fucking god, that's a spider right next to me.
It's the spider from Umineko.
What an honor. Quickly kill this spider. Alright. Anyway, large amounts of blood kept pouring out.
What was that just now?
You don't want to know. It's a long story. Rhoda, have you been injured?
I am fine. But what did we just see? What happened? I know I pushed that thing against this wall with my own hand, but even I cannot understand what just happened.
Goda looked at his own hand. There was bright red blood left from his scuffle with Cannon. The bright red blood left from his scuffle with Cannon definitely remained. And yet Cannon was nowhere to be seen, because he had disappeared. He had transformed into gold butterflies and scattered. Goda kept screaming alone, without a clue about what was going on. Alright. Family Dr. Nancho died in the servant room, his throat sliced open by a sharp blade or something similar. However, this alone isn't enough.
Oh. Died in the servant room, her throat sliced open by a sharp blade or something similar. The finishing touches are yet to come.
Shannon sobbed in front of Nanjo and Kumasawa's remains. Genji watched over her, silent as always. Umineko. And we're going to keep up the trend of ending an episode with a death. And that is where we're going to end it.
Yeah, that's a good place to end it, I think.
Yeah, I think it's a good place to end it. I like ending it on climactic moments. Let me save, for the love of God! System. Save. Alright.
That song is so good.
It is. Thank you so much for joining us on another episode of Umineko.
Yeah, good episode.
It's gonna be a long time before, from when this is recording, from when we're recording this to when it's being uploaded. Like, just
Because you have a lot more to...
Yeah, I
have a lot more to upload.
I have a huge backlog. I just uploaded one where we mentioned the date and it was November. So who knows when this is gonna come out? But thank you so much for joining us, and I hope you'll join us next time for another episode of Umineko. Goodbye.